We live in interesting times. Today's stories. China's birth rate hits its lowest level since 1949. Frustration mounts as toxic smog shrouds the Balkans. Nicaragua beekeeper turns to queen bees in climate struggle. Kangaroos are on the mend after deadly fires.
You identify this as
WHO comments on mystery coronavirus outbreak in China.
There might be some limited human-to-human transmission.
Meet the Interceptor, a rubbish-collecting barge fighting the plastic crisis. Huge amounts of sand dumped on Miami Beach to tackle climate change erosion. Plus, Molina neighborhood residents in Corpus Christi say church outreach is a blessing to their community.
Molina Neighborhood Center, this is where I grew up.
This is Eagle News coming to you from Las Vegas, bringing you stories from around the globe. China's birth rate dropped last year to its lowest level since the communist country was founded in 1949, adding to concerns that an aging society and shrinking workforce will pile pressure on a slowing economy. To avoid a demographic crisis, the government relaxed its one-child policy in 2016 to allow people to have 2 children, but the change has not resulted in more pregnancies. According to data from the National Bureau of Statistics, released on Friday in 2019, the birth rate stood at 10.48 per 1,000 people. The number of births has now fallen to 3 consecutive years. There were 14.65 million babies born in 2019 after 15.23 million in 2018 and 17.23 million in 2017. Still, China's population stood at 1.4 billion by the end of 2019, increasing by 4.67 million from the year before. China's workforce continued to shrink last year. The NBS said there were 896.4 million people aged between 16 and 59, its population of working age, a drop from the 897.3 million in 2018. This marks the 8th consecutive year of decline, and the workforce is expected to decline by as much as 23% by 2050. Although China's limit on family sizes could be removed, the rising cost of living has discouraged many of childbearing age to have bigger families. China's economy grew by 6.1% in 2019, its lowest pace since 1990, as it was hit by weaker demand and a bruising trade war with the United States. Winter brings its annual toxic smog to the Balkans, where the pollution is fueled in large part by the coal and wood fires that many poorer residents rely on for heating. According to the monitoring application AirVisual, in recent weeks, Balkan capitals including Belgrade, Sarajevo, Skopje, and Pristina have been ranked among the world's top 10 most polluted major cities. There have been a spate of protests in cities around the region as citizens demand clean air and from governments that have been slow to react to the crisis.
To je mene strah da ćemo mi iz Tuzle napuštati samo zato što imamo zagađen zrak, da nećemo možda odlaziti zbog ekonomskih razloga, nego zbog ciljeva da sačuvamo svoje zdravlje.
While these are small cities compared to leading Asian polluters like New Delhi and Dhaka, a combination of coal-fired power plants, old cars, and fires to heat homes are pumping the air with toxins. Thanks to the rise of mobile phone apps that measure air quality, like the local Moj Vozdu or My Air, created by a Macedonian developer, citizens are finally grasping the full extent of the crisis. Protests have been erupting around the region in recent days. In Skopje, the capital of North Macedonia, young people have taken inspiration from Swedish activist Greta Thunberg by holding a spate of protests on Fridays. In neighboring Bosnia, several hundred people wearing face masks gathered in the city of Tuzla this week to demand a plan from authorities to tackle pollution and phase out coal-fired plants in the next 5 years. According to a recent UN Environment report, air pollution causes nearly 20% of premature deaths in 19 Western Balkan cities. The report said the main sources of dust, soot, and smoke are low-grade coal plants and household heating. More than 60% of people in the region rely on coal and firewood to heat their homes, the report said. Only 12% of buildings are connected to district heating systems. The UN urged governments need to make clean energy more accessible, ban old polluting vehicles, and tighten regulations on industry emissions and power plants. In other news, a Nicaraguan beekeeper has found that raising queen bees has given him an opportunity to improve the quality and production of his honey as climate change threatens his business, a sector that brings in millions in profits for the Central American country. Take a look.
Tenemos una producción promedio entre 35 a 40 kilogramos por colmena año, pero hemos visto afectados por el cambio climático y esto ha disminuido considerablemente la producción. Incluso hemos tenido producciones de hasta 15 kilogramos por colmena año. Cada año vamos aumentando paulatinamente entre un 80 a un 90%. Y eso lo logramos a través de las divisiones de colmenas. También tenemos actividades como las crianzas naturales de reinas y crianzas artificiales también de reinas. O 3 días después de la división, nosotros vamos a introducir por cada colmena nueva una copa celda de esta, que es una celda real, que esa ya puede tener entre 2 a 3 días antes de nacer, para que la colmena sea más productiva y el tiempo de reproducción sea mínimo. Entonces eso nos logra, como decíamos anteriormente, a obtener una mejor producción, porque ya no tengo que esperar un mes para que la abeja reina pueda poner un huevo. Aquí ya solo voy a esperar entre 8 a 9 días, que relativamente el tiempo es indispensable en esto.
In Australia, when a joey was taken in by volunteer carer Lori Carter, its legs and paws were black from burns. But after near constant attention, the young kangaroo is on the mend, one of the lucky animals in Australia's bushfires that have ravaged native wildlife. The burnt joey, named Louise, stays in the medical room, and as she waits for her daily bandaging, she limps about the featureless white space uncomfortably on her bandaged hind legs. Yet even this is a big improvement on when she was first rescued.
As I say, her feet were jet black, charcoal. The burns were quite significant. She was in a lot of pain, a lot of stress. So we needed to get her pain under control. She was dehydrated, of course. So we needed to get fluids into her.
63-year-old Carter works a full-time job as an IT consultant, and along with his wife, Chris, they set up their own wildlife sanctuary at their home in False Creek, a small country town on the country's southeast coast. Right now, they have 17 joeys and several bats in their care. The smallest kangaroos are kept in custom-made bags that hang from hooks in a small room inside the house. In total, 4 baby kangaroos were picked up because they were injured as a result of bushfires that have devastated towns and large tracts of land in the area 2 weeks ago. Carter estimates it costs him about 15 or 10,000 Australian dollars each year in food, vaccinations, and other medical expenses to care for the animals he currently has. But that does not dampen his enthusiasm for looking after injured kangaroos.
Yeah, to me, they're a national treasure that should be looked after. We've lost way too many as it is. And I consider it an absolute privilege that I'm allowed to do this, that these guys will allow me to do this, because it's, to me, that's what it's all about. Okay, what I'm preparing here is a sedative. That will not quite knock her out, but will certainly put her in a very, very nice frame of mind so that we can work on her. She will still feel the pain, but this will settle her down quite nicely.
Up next, WHO comments on mystery coronavirus outbreak in China. Meet the Interceptor, a rubbish-collecting barge fighting the plastic crisis. Huge amounts of sand dumped on Miami Beach to tackle climate change erosion. Plus, Molina neighborhood residents in Corpus Christi say church outreach is a blessing to their community. Eagle News will be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Eagle News coming to you from Las Vegas. Members of the World Health Organization comment on the so-called coronavirus that has been reported in China and Thailand, saying that investigations in the outbreak that has so far given rise to 41 pneumonia-like cases and 1 death are still in the very early days.
Thank you. Yes, this is a new coronavirus, and the sequences have been made publicly available on online platforms, which are accessible to all. So yes, this is a new coronavirus. And we are still in the very early days of this, and so there are investigations that are evaluating how individuals were infected. As Tarek mentioned, many individuals mentioned this one market in Wuhan, but it is possible, because it's a respiratory pathogen, we wouldn't be surprised if there was some limited human-to-human transmission, especially among families who have close contact with one another. So these
investigations have found that some of the cases were workers, handlers, or frequent visitor at a seafood market in Wuhan where live animals were sold. This is the
UN and Thai officials said on Monday a new virus from the same family as the deadly SARS disease has spread beyond China's borders for the first time, with a case emerging in Thailand. Thai doctors diagnosed a Chinese traveler with mild pneumonia on January 8, later confirmed to have been caused by the so-called novel coronavirus, which has already given rise to 41 pneumonia-like cases and 1 death in China. The outbreak has caused alarm because of the link with SARS of sudden acute respiratory syndrome, which killed 349 people in mainland China and another 299 in Hong Kong in 2002 to 2003. The United Health Agency WHO confirmed that the outbreak in the city of Wuhan was caused by a previously unknown type of coronavirus, a broad family ranging from the common cold to more serious illnesses like SARS. Referring to the case in Thailand, WHO spokesman Tariq Jarasevic told AFP in an email, quote, "Laboratory testing subsequently confirmed that the novel coronavirus was the cause." WHO said it might soon host an emergency meeting on the spread of the new virus. Thai Health Minister Anutin Charnvirakul stressed to reporters in Bangkok Monday that a 61-year-old Chinese woman who had traveled from Wuhan was infected with the virus from outside Thailand. Thai health officials said on Monday she was recovering. Authorities in Wuhan said a seafood market in the city was the center of the outbreak. It was closed on January 1. There is so far no indication of human-to-human transmission of the virus. Scooping waste from a Malaysian river to stop it reaching the sea, solar-powered barge, the Interceptor, is the latest weapon in a global battle to rid the world's waters of plastic.
This is called Interceptor. Interceptor, the main function is to trap waste, whatever waste pass through our log boom. It's complement our existing operation. So, previously, Sungai Klang is like a floating landfill. The boat cannot go through. There's a lot of plastic inside in the river, and now you can see the river is generally free from floating debris. We have tire, we have teddy bear, we have animals inside. You can see just now we have chicken, so we have everything, but generally it's plastic. If we look at our waste, 50 to 60% is domestic waste. Domestic waste come from us, from people. If we change our attitude, if we change our behavior, we can at least reduce 60% of river waste. 60% of river waste.
Dozens of trucks have started dumping hundreds of thousands of tons of sand on Miami Beach as part of U.S. government measures to protect Florida's tourist destinations against the effects of climate change.
Sand is coming from all the way from inland of Fort Myers area, so it's got to be brought all the way across the Everglades, which is something like 80 miles or so, 90 miles. And then, of course, it's working through the urban area here to finally get out here on the beach and bring this sand to the beach where the bulldozers moving around. Florida, really South Florida, is considered the ground zero for climate change. I mean, not only do we have beach erosion, we got flooding going on during king tides, which happen all too often now.
Leatherman, known locally as Dr. Beach, said that rising sea levels triggered by climate change and causing the accelerated erosion of the famous beach, as well as coastal storms and in particular hurricanes. The Army Corps of Engineers this month began the $16 million operation to dump 233,000 cubic meters of sand on eroded areas of Miami Beach by June, a project that was originally designed to address damage wrought by Hurricane Irma in 2017. The Army said in a statement every day, trucks will tip between 100 and 250 loads, each containing 22 tons of sand onto the beach.
The beach is so important to us. Without this beach, people start going somewhere else. I mean, yeah, you got the view, but no beach. People aren't going to come here in the great numbers. In fact, something like 15 to 20 million people a year come to Miami Beach. It's far more than Grand Canyon, all our famous parks, you know. This is a place to be. With global warming, it's anticipated that the rate of sea level rise is going to increase. It's going to go up faster, which means the rate of beach erosion is going to increase. So if this beach starts eroding 2 or 3 or 4 feet per year, not even counting erosion hotspots, the cost is going to be exponentially higher, maybe astronomically higher.
The project is part of an overall $158 million federally funded plan to protect Miami from hurricanes and control beach erosion. In other news, residents of what is considered an underserved community in Corpus Christi called Molina neighborhood say a recent church mission there is a blessing to them. Eagle News correspondent Tatiana Estanislao with the details.
Hello from Corpus Christi, Texas. We're here at the Molina Neighborhood Center, where volunteers from the Iglesia Ni Cristo Church of Christ are sharing their faith by giving back to the community.
My name is Eric Lee Tunches. I'm from the city of Corpus Christi, state of Texas, and I've been living here in the Molina neighborhood for the last 32 years of my life. And I'm very heavily involved in the neighborhood, in the community outreach programs. Well, my friend Kat, she called me and she wanted to see if we can put together a venue for a very needy neighborhood. The first place that I thought of was the Molina Neighborhood Center. This is where I grew up. This is where I recreated as a child, and I grew up down the street.
My family's from the Molina area. My grandma raised all 13 of her kids here in this area. Really, she did. For the past, but this place was a bad spot. When I was first born, this was a bad area.
The Molina neighborhood is a low socioeconomic neighborhood located in the city's west side, most nationally known for the city of Salina and also the neighborhood of Salina. Selena's been dead for 25 years, and she was the queen of Tejano. So we have some big roots into Tejano music and Mexican American music for the world. Molina neighborhood has been underserved for decades. We have been neglected from the city council to the state to federal levels as well. That's the reason why I thought that the Molina neighborhood would be a great choice for the Church of Christ Village Evangelical to come on in and help our brothers and sisters down here in Corpus Christi, Texas.
It regards to the Village Evangelical Mission, this is actually in line with what our Lord Jesus Christ did himself. He went from city to city and from village to village to preach the words of our Almighty God. We were able to get together and distribute invitations to over 500 houses within the Molina community. Our brethren, many of them didn't have much sleep the night before because they were packing all of the food and continue to make the preparations. Whatever sacrifice it took, they were willing to make it.
Today I found out about today's event due to a text message. Really, I was at the emergency at the Doctor's Regional, and a gentleman that has been looking for us for actually a whole year now, he said, "Hey, I have this invitation, we all should go." And we said, "Alrighty, sir, we'll go."
I found this on Facebook on my wall, and I said I'm gonna go check it out, see what it's all about. That was great. Provide today the groceries back to people. They need that, especially in this part of the city.
How did you find out about this event? To get a card right? Yeah. I saw it on Facebook and then I got this card at my door yesterday. There's a lot of people, a lot of children that are hungry. They don't have any food at home. Very grateful. Very grateful and very grateful. Yes. You're the best. Thank you. They gave us groceries, water, clothing, good word, worship, anything you need. Direction, answers, prayers. I see that in this building. I honestly think that, if we get enough people to change their hearts and their minds about the poverty and how they see people, that we can make something great happen here. I like this church.
Very blessing for all of us. For
Especially
everyone,
this Molina edition.
Molina district also.
There's a lot of low-income people,
right.
but they're real friendly and kind. I think it was a beautiful service. There was a lot of people, happy people, and everybody was friendly. Have a blessed day.
We don't just provide the groceries and the clothing and all that. He also provides the food for your soul and for what you need from him. So for me, this is a blessing for me. This is a blessing for me.
I was very surprised, very well organized, very well communicated through some of the outlets of the news stations here locally and some of the social media groups. There was a very large volunteer system and a large group of people really wanting to help and being passionate about it. I'm very happy that this event is being successful. As you can see, there's a lot of people inside here getting their blood pressure checked, getting groceries that are needed for their homes and very vital.
Everybody's so joyful and they're very friendly and very welcoming.
Yeah, before we even got to be in the parking lot, they were already letting us know.
Down. Hey, y'all come on in, let's go.
It was a very good experience, more better than what I had seen in any other churches. I actually felt el Espíritu de Dios aquí en este edificio.
But I received a good message today, and this is where I was supposed to be. God sent me in the right direction today. We still have people here willing to help. And now that I know about everybody on the other side of the world helping each other, I feel a little lighter inside. God placed us here today for a reason.
Reporting from Corpus Christi, Texas, this is Tatiana Estanislao, Eagle News 125.
Thank you, Tatiana. That is today's Eagle News. Join us again tomorrow for stories that matter to you. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/eaglenews and on Facebook at facebook.com/eaglenews. Thank you for watching. I'm Anna Cui, and I'm 1 with 25.